everyone, my name is Shauna and I am the spiritual leader of the Resistance and Revolution. Hopefully you've seen my first videos that detail our march to the police station. I will say that I did not know that that was going to be the location that we ended up at. Usually with protests, you start at the point of origin and then you end up back at the point of origin. In this particular case, we were heading right, and then they said go left. And so there were those that were in front of me, and as I am turning left, I'm noticing that there is a portion of the Music City Hall that has been graffitied, like a whole bunch of graffiti. I'm also noticing that there are no cars on the road at this time. All cars have been cleared of the road, of the path that we were taking for the march. Maybe one or two, but really I did not see any cars till we got to the police station. Wouldn't you know that in front of the police station there was one lone police car and another unidentified car. On the day of the protest, all of the cars along the path of the protest were gone, except for the one police car and one lone car in front of the police station. Hold on to that, okay? By the time that I had gotten there, the protesters had already began to damage the police car. And there were some police out there. They were the ones that were on bikes. I'm not sure. I think they have different ones or different uniforms, but these were the ones that were on bikes. So they're damaging these two cars. To be expected, really, I think they took the bait. But they're damaging these two cars, and then the police are pulling people that they're seeing damaging the cars. So this is causing more conflict because they're grabbing folks, and folks are trying to grab the folks back so that they won't be arrested. We're here protesting police brutality. So everyone's emotions are high and not wanting the police to touch anybody. How do I know this? Because I got right in the middle of all of it. My thing is, if I'm going to be there and be looking and seeing what's going on, I'm going to be there, like right on the front lines, what's up? Just because it's necessary to be able to say what happened. I don't have no second hand of what happened. I have what actually happened. So they've now messed up this police car. They're trying to set it on fire. Somebody tried to set it on fire. And all of a sudden, because you have the police station, you have the police, you have the protesters, you have the car surrounded by the protesters. The police who were by the police building all of a sudden make a beeline to the cars, and now they are surrounding these two cars. There are two rows of police that are surrounding these two vehicles. So, of course, they are now in the middle of protesters, and the protesters are letting them have it. So they're in the middle of the protesters. I was there. I was like, the police, it was the car, the police, a line of protesters, me. I'm just sitting right there. I'm looking at the police. They looking at me. I'm looking back at them. Like, but ain't nobody really moving. Ain't no scuffling. Ain't no, you hear people yelling at the police. You hear people, saying, get in front of the, white people being like, get in front of the black folks, protect them. I'm like, all right, okay. So really, but there was no, like, tussling, really. On occasion, you'd have a police officer get mad and shove their bike at the crowd. Then the crowd will push back, and they'd push back, But honestly, for like 30 minutes, it was just us sitting there staring, looking at each other. It changed when the tactical unit came in. And I call them tactical unit. I really don't know what to call them. I don't want to call them SWAT. All I know is they're the men and women that are dressed in all black. They have on the protective gear and the baton. So they come from from right. I don't know where they were at, but all you heard was, SWAT's coming, which I don't know if they're SWAT or not, but there's SWAT's coming. So you see this 2 rows of SWAT or tactical coming this way. They pushing people out the way. They're like, move out the way, move out the way. I'm thinking that they're there to help their fellow officers that are being surrounded at this car. Nope. Police station, SWAT tactical guys, protesters, cops surrounded by cars. So now there is this clear line in front of the police station where the tactical SWAT units are. I don't really know why, because even though rocks were being thrown at the police station, it's like bulletproof glass. It literally bumped off. And it was like 1 or 2 people did that. So there really wasn't going to be any damage to the police station. So why they did a little beeline, I don't know. But so now it's the police station, the little SWAT tactical people, protesters. Protesters' attention is now on the tactical unit that have pushed themselves through trying to make this position. So of course they're head to head. They're like right here, right? Me, I'm like, all right, this is where I fall back, because y'all really wasn't doing no action before this. It wasn't really too much going on. Now it has literally been bumped up exceedingly, and I don't need to get hit in the face with a baton or any shield or anything. So I step back and I'm towards the back, just kind of watching what the full scope of what's going on. Again, though, there really wasn't too much head bumping, too much going on. It was just that we are now in a situation where one side is very angry and the other side is defending the courthouse, I guess, the police station, I guess. So then they decided to bring out the horses. Why they decided to bring out the horses, I don't know. I do know they were making room and trying to show force and intimidation. The wrong thing to do, and definitely not de-escalation. So the horses start off the left and they start walking through. Now, mind you, ain't too much space in the first place between the police station, the tactical unit, protesters. So they start squeezing their way through the tactical unit and the protesters. Horses are huge. Horses are big. So as they're pushing through, of course protesters is getting, knocked here, knocked there. But that was the point when you're bringing horses through a confined space like that. So the first time they did it, folks was like, don't touch the horses. The horses ain't do nothing to nobody, XYZ. The second time they did it, and yes, they did it a second time, as the horses was going through, they was like, man, forget them horses. They was throwing stuff at the cop. They was throwing stuff at the police. They was throwing stuff at the police, and it was hitting them. They was throwing water. It was hitting the horses. The horses was like, what are y'all doing? They was bucking. Folks was getting like hit, trampled. I don't know if some folks got trampled or not. All I know is thank goodness I was not right there, because I know I would have gotten hit by these horses. They did it a second time. They didn't do it again. They learned their lesson. Like, they don't do that again. So we're there at the police station. We were there for maybe an hour or so. And then folks decided, you know what, we're going to leave. I didn't know where they were leaving to, but they're like, we're going to leave. Apparently, it was decided we're going to go to the courthouse. The courthouse that ended up burning. So that will be the next story, because, my God, that whole thing was bananas, right? But as we're on, I'll go up until we actually were there. So we are leaving, and we're going through like this tunnel area, and all you see is spray paint, BLM, F12. We're going through somewhat the path that we had went before. It has significantly reduced. Many people had went home. Older folks with children, those individuals had really went home. So you really had more of the youth, 16 to 24, 29, in that range, right? And I'm walking, and I'm not with the crowd, but I'm part of the crowd, and I'm walking, and I'm just seeing that for some, life is just, we're going through these buildings, and it just seemed like, for them, it was like life is just going on. They don't even recognize the anger and frustration or anything, because they're just drinking, they're listening to the music, it doesn't matter. And for me, I even got into a mindset walking through all that, like, I don't know if I was like, I wish somebody would just say something, because I was like, I'm ready for you to say something, because we can do whatever. But I think it was just that kind of air that had now come into place. We're walking by and just spray paint graffiti everywhere. And I'm just like, well, they just gonna have to clean it up. Now, here's the thing. During this time, there was no police presence. So up until the time of the march, you had police that were directing traffic, but you had no police actually along with the march. And then you really only saw the police force when it was at the actual police station. Okay? Follow me on this, right? So even after they were, quote, destroying or being even after, when they were at the police station, you had all that tussling going on. When the crowd left, the police did not follow. And so from the time that the folks left to the time that they got to the courthouse, there was no police presence outside of, no, there wasn't a police presence. They were on the tail end, right? So we get to the courthouse after we have walked, and you just see them, you see the crowd, and the crowd is towards the actual courthouse. And y'all, no police were around. They were not around for like a good 10-15 minutes. And then you just heard them coming up. I saw them. They were coming up on their bikes. And they got right in the middle of the crowd. And I'm like, this is terrible de-escalation. And then they start pushing. Listen, so the last part will be me talking about, like, how it went way downhill from there. And how everybody on the police force was there. And everybody, was ready to show up and show out when it was going to hit dark. Because I could tell, like, oh, y'all waiting until it's dark. You'll wait until it's dark. And when it gets dark, we going to all have some problems.